atas. Tolong saya.
Indonesia is facing a devastating crisis as extreme monsoon weather pushes multiple regions into chaos, destruction, and grief. What should have been a season of rain has turned into a nationwide emergency, exposing how fragile life becomes when nature strikes without mercy. In Padang, West Sumatra, the disaster unfolded rapidly and violently. Relentless monsoon rains pounded the region day and night, soaking hillsides beyond their limits. The earth could no longer hold. In the hillside districts of Lubuk Kilangan, Bongus to Lukabong, and the Pacial area of Lubuk Along, massive landslides tore through communities with terrifying force. Entire slopes collapsed in seconds, burying homes beneath meters of mud, rocks, and debris. There was no warning, no time to escape. Families were inside their houses when the ground gave way. Walls were crushed, roofs vanished, lives were buried under the weight of the earth. The sound of rain was replaced by screams, collapsing structures, and silence.
Hati-hati pohon, pohon. Tahan, dorong. Ya Allah, ya Allah. Jangan lepas, jangan lepas. Woi, mundur, mundur.
At the same time, Padang City was drowning. Floodwaters rose at an alarming speed, transforming streets into violent, murky rivers. Vehicles were swept aside like toys. Power lines fell. Entire neighborhoods disappeared beneath the water. In low-lying areas such as Koto Tangah, Nanggalo, and Padang Timur, residents were trapped on rooftops and upper floors, clinging to hope as the water continued to rise. Some waited for hours. Some waited too long. Emergency calls flooded local authorities, but access was nearly impossible. Roads were submerged. Bridges were damaged. In many areas, boats became the only way to reach the stranded. Rescue teams navigated dangerous currents, risking their own lives to save others. Official reports now confirm that at least 11 people have died, with several more still missing. Many are feared buried beneath landslide debris. The number may rise as rescue teams continue their search in unstable conditions. Major rivers including Batang Kuranji, Batang Arau, and Batang Candas remain at dangerously high levels. Authorities warn that further rainfall could trigger additional flash floods and landslides at any moment. The soil is fully saturated. The danger has not passed. This is not a single disaster. It is a double catastrophe. Rescue operations are being carried out on two deadly fronts. In flooded districts, emergency crews move through submerged streets by boat, rescuing families stranded on rooftops, carrying children, the elderly, and the injured to safety. In landslide zones, teams carefully dig through unstable ground, knowing that even slight vibrations could trigger another collapse. Hundreds of personnel from Indonesia's Basarnas Search and Rescue Agency, local disaster response units, police, military forces, and volunteers are working non-stop. Heavy machinery is used where possible, but in many places, rescuers rely on hand tools, listening closely for any sign of life beneath the debris. Every minute matters. Every sound could be a survivor. Roads connecting entire regions have been severed. Mudslides block access routes. Floodwaters isolate communities. Emergency vehicles struggle to reach the hardest-hit areas, slowing aid delivery and rescue efforts. Evacuation centers across Padang are overwhelmed. Hundreds of displaced families crowd into temporary shelters, many arriving soaked, injured, and traumatized. Food supplies are limited. Clean drinking water is scarce. Medical teams work tirelessly to treat injuries, infections, and exhaustion. Children cry in fear, confused by the sudden loss of home and security. Elderly survivors sit quietly, staring into the distance, unable to process what has happened. Homes have been destroyed, livelihoods washed away. Years of hard work erased in hours. Parallel to the crisis in West Sumatra, Aceh is also under serious threat. Heavy rainfall across several parts of Aceh has caused widespread flooding, swollen rivers, and heightened landslide risk in mountainous regions. Authorities in Aceh have issued urgent warnings, urging residents in high-risk areas to evacuate early as river levels continue to rise and hillsides show signs of instability. Emergency teams in Aceh remain on high alert, monitoring water levels and soil movement. Officials fear that conditions could rapidly escalate, mirroring the tragedy unfolding in Padang across Indonesia. Disaster management agencies are coordinating a massive response, but the challenges are immense. Blocked roads, unstable terrain, damaged infrastructure, power outages, and disrupted communication lines complicate every operation. Psychologists on the ground warn that the emotional toll of this disaster will be long-lasting. Survivors have endured sudden loss, terror, displacement, and uncertainty. Being trapped by floodwaters or buried under collapsing earth leaves deep psychological scars. Long after the waters recede and the debris is cleared, the trauma will remain. Yet amid the devastation, the spirit of gotong royong, mutual cooperation, stands strong. Local communities are rallying together. Volunteers work side by side with rescue teams, clearing debris, helping evacuate neighbors, and sharing food, clothing, and shelter. In the face of overwhelming loss, humanity refuses to disappear. This disaster is a harsh reminder of Indonesia's vulnerability to extreme weather. Climate patterns are changing. Rainfall is becoming more intense and unpredictable. Areas once considered safe are now at risk. The line between normal weather and catastrophe is growing dangerously thin. As of 25 December 2025, rescue operations continue day and night. Authorities urge residents in high-risk zones to follow evacuation orders and remain vigilant. The threat of further floods and landslides remains real. While floodwaters paralyze cities and landslides remain the deadliest force of this disaster, hope survives through resilience, unity, and relentless rescue efforts. Indonesia is wounded. Indonesia is grieving. But Indonesia is still standing, and the fight to save lives is not over.